Welcome to Embracing Infinity, exploring the infinite oneness in the space of love and truth. Host Jennifer Rose is an international spiritual medium, healer, channeler, mentor, and transformational guide. Her focus is encouraging individuals to know themselves within the lens of their divine heart and highest potential, to evolve within the frequency of love and peaceful harmony. Now, here's your host, Jennifer Rose.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Embracing Infinity on the Sacred Spiral Network. I'm Jennifer Rose and very happy to see you all here today. Happy Friday, happy weekend. I hope you all are doing very well and feeling the peace and calm and joy as we've moved through the full moon energies and the eclipse and are starting to feel a little bit of a rest from all that. So that's always good for all of us to experience that little bit of rest. So again, I'm very happy to be here with all of you today and very excited that Nigel Gee is back with me again for part 2 of the Beyond is Becoming Present. I know this was very well received last time he joined me and all of you here too. So, and there was more we wanted to say and offer and share to everybody. So here we are once again too, and it's a beautiful time to do that this October 10th. It's 10:10 here today. So very nice. I want to say hi to Jennifer McCormick as she's coming on. Very happy to see you. I can feel the spirit energies are coming around. So that's a good sign that they're here today too. So a little check-in and how are we all doing? How are we all moving through? We've only got my goodness, less than 3 months left of this year, and it has gone by very fast. But so much beautiful change, challenging at times, high rapid speed, intense, but beautiful change too, isn't it? So there's blessings in all of that. There's much to be grateful for. Hi to Arnie Layton. Thanks for joining us. Love, good to see you too. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me see. Oh, here we go. Okay, I forgot. Kelly's taking some time off, so I'm running the comments myself. So hi, Jennifer. I crack myself up sometimes. So, all right. And I see Karen Bonifilio is here too. How are you, Karen? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We have a beautiful show planned, Karen. So I'm happy that you're joining us in this energy. And this is a safe space. I got to fix my background is driving my mental brain crazy. So there we go. This is a safe space for you all to be here. And it is also a space of healing and graceful presence. So by joining in and listening and sharing in what we would call this sacred container, everybody is receiving healing. We're receiving knowledge. We're in the togetherness. We're in the community, but we're also receiving healing and growing from that too. And that's a beautiful gift that spirit always has to give us here today too. So thank you for the love. Oh, there's your eagle, Jennifer. There's your love. Beautiful. Aloha, Vivian. How are you, my beautiful friend? Thank you for being here today. I also want to say hi to Michelle Oliver from Canada. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And yes, I know. That's my quirky side, Jennifer. I have one. I can be a little weird. There we go. So thank you for the love, everybody, too. I do have one quick announcement. On Monday, we have Fashionably Spiritual with my co-host and beautiful dear friend and also member of our Sacred Spiral Network, Nancy Muratala. And we will be on live on Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific, which is 2 a.m. in the UK on Tuesday. So I know some of you have your afternoon coffee and are able to make it. So we're always happy to see you. But we get pretty deep on this show. I have to tell you, like, we didn't quite know what to expect when we started co-hosting it together, but we get pretty deep and there's some really good healing and transformative work that's being done as we all come together. So look forward to seeing you there too. Also, quick update on our beloved fairy Fran. She is hanging in there. She's in our Fran Pierce, for those of you who may not know her, She's now in a rehabilitation facility, and I've been visiting her, and we're just trying to make sure she gets everything that she needs. But she is so grateful for all of your loving messages. I've been making sure she gets them and she sees them, and it means the world to her, because as we know, the power of prayer and loving thoughts and intentions actually makes a huge difference. So she's got a lot of her sass back, and I'm happy to see that. So that's a really good thing. So we've got a ways to go in terms of recovery and progress, but it's being made. We're getting there. So thank you, Spirit, for all that too. Hi to Mel McConnell. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. And Michelle, yeah, I'm so happy you're here too, Michelle as well. And yes, we all have a wonderful day ahead starting now. Yes. Okay, beautiful. You'll have your coffee, Jennifer. Thank you, love. Thank you, love. And with that, I think it's a really good time to get started with our discussion here today, and welcome Nigel Gee back to Embracing Infinity. And thank you, Jennifer, for the prayers and the healing to our friend. Much appreciated. Hi, Nigel.
Hi, Jennifer, and hi, everybody. Welcome, everybody. It's lovely to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me once again. It's greatly appreciated.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Okay. I'm so used to Zoom that this is a different. So I'm just reading Tilly's message from South Africa.
Yeah, she's here from. Hi, Tilly. Good to see you. Yeah, it's beautiful that we're international. So it's a little bit different platform than Zoom, and the power of prayer. Indeed, it's a good thing to talk about as well. And Jennifer McCormick is saying hi to you as well too. She's over in the UK. And so, yeah, I'll make sure you can, I'll put all the comments up on screen for you too, to make it easier for you to read. Michelle Oliver is also saying hello and hope you're doing well.
Thank you.
So, yeah, thank you. So we have a wonderful time ahead. Nigel, I'm just going to read a little bit about you, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Does that sound like a plan?
It sounds like a fabulous plan.
Okay. All right, my dear friends. Oops, that just got really big and white on me all of a sudden. So give me just a moment. There, that's better. Okay. Nigel Gee is a spiritual and well-being mentor specializing in communicating with the intelligence of what is to disperse and reverse layers of dis-ease. Nigel began to receive insights to the reversal of his Crohn's disease symptoms after experiencing years of physical pain and weakness that interrupted his well-being. Nigel's mediumship and telepathic access propelled his recovery process and now enables him to communicate with the intelligence of pain, vibration, frequency, parallel worlds, dimensions, and all souls in order to identify reasons for dis-ease and provide a spiritual and energetic remedies to activate a restorative healing process. Combining the letting go of what doesn't serve us, our highest good, and embodying the infinite love that Spirit provides is Nigel's portal for accelerating our well-being journey. Wow. That's beautiful. We need more of that in this world, Nigel.
Yes, we do. And, you know, we're all here for a purpose. We all have our own gifts, as it were.
Correct. And I know we did some work with some individuals that were in, joining us last time, and helped them with some of their illness issues that we talked about too. And the title of this is The Beyond is Becoming Present, Part 2. And we had so much to discuss that we thought we would even backtrack a little bit and just talk about, like, what is the beyond? What is the beyond to you? What does that mean?
Great question. And hi, everybody. It's interesting because we're so used to having the information that we do have available. And in many ways, it constrains us, it contains us, because they're limiting beliefs. So therefore, when we have words such as consciousness and the ultimate and infinity and love, it feels as if there's a ceiling there. It can't go beyond. But the wonderful news is there is a beyond. And so what that means, over a number of years since I've been working, communicating and interacting with the intelligence of what is, in my journey, It's for me to have been shown accessibility to information that is beyond generally the understanding of a lot of practitioners or therapists. But importantly, every therapist and every practitioner and every individual is here to serve each other. It just so happens that whatever has been shown to me that I have access to, it's for my journey, and I just receive it like that. I just accept it like that. But the beyond to me means receiving information that goes beyond our limiting beliefs. And I can give you some examples a little bit later if you wish.
Yes, yes. How does this affect like your knowing and different ways of knowing and understanding, ourselves and our reality and the world that we live in, that we're all sharing together?
Well, generally speaking, we are so used to the way that we are as human beings, as individuals, that we actually are in acceptance of our traits. We are in acceptance of our reactions to conversations. We are in acceptance of information that is given to us. But interestingly, there are vibrations and frequencies and intelligence that is held in our vocabulary, that is held in our numerical system, that is held in our perception, that is held in our interpretation of what is, which actually is a limiting belief. Now, in saying that, anybody who's watching, or everyone who's watching, this isn't to negate your belief systems. It's got nothing to do with that. Whatever our belief systems are, then we have to acknowledge them. And this is where everybody is in their journey. I get shown pathways to understand and be given a different lens in which to see what we thought and interpreted and accepted as our knowing, and to be shown that actually the knowing goes beyond our knowing. So this is the beyond.
I love that. It does. It does. And I want to say hi to everybody who's joined us as well. Lynn and Bernie and Stacia and Geraldine and Charlene. Hello, all our beautiful friends. Tilly, thank you. Thank you. Dominic, thank you for being here too. I just want to make sure I acknowledge all of you. So excited that you're here. And I love talking about this stuff, Nigel, because when I had an awakening, and then I had a big awakening, which took me into the beyond and into infinity. And I think of Buzz Lightyear from the cartoon, to infinity and beyond. But it is true. We think, how could there, right? How could there be anything like past infinity? And like, well, what's beyond that? Like, what created the creator? What created energy? What created love? Like we don't always think of more, but then the unlimited nature of consciousness itself would take us to more. So that makes sense. And we'll go into rhymes and riddles trying to talk about this stuff and kind of drive ourselves in spirals and circles. But my mercurial spiritual mind really enjoys having these conversations.
It's a lovely conversation to have. And when people can resonate with these words, because this conversation that's taking place now is being channeled. So the words and the thoughts that are coming through from you, Jennifer, being channeled, the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions and the words that are coming through me, I know being channeled. A few minutes before coming on this evening, I was just in a quiet space, and all of a sudden that space changed. And the message was coming through was, you are in the beyond space. Now, what a wonderful feeling that is. If you ask me to put it into words, what does it mean? What does it feel like? It's all bespoke. It's very individual. But to know that we're in that space, and the space is available for others. And although a number of people won't necessarily be able to resonate or have that sensory awareness of experiencing that beyond space, most importantly is that the beyond is now becoming present. It's not the beyond anymore. And the phenomenal changes in vibration and frequency and the healing that comes through our vocabulary, the healing that comes through numbers, the healing that comes through intent is going to be amplified and magnified to such an extent that we're in for a ride.
I agree with you. I can feel it. You're taking my mind into many beautiful places. right now. One is there's well, you talked about getting like past our beliefs, and I have a sort of a phrase I use, like there's believing, there's knowing, and then there's cannot deny, which is like beyond knowing, because knowings can change too. But now you're bringing me into like maybe there's something beyond cannot deny too. So my mind is starting to wrap itself around that too, which is very fun too. But I also feel like we're embarking on, I keep saying we're embarking on a renaissance. Like there is something really big happening, and I can feel it and I can experience it. And I know people might not see it right in front of them, but if we could change our scope and our perception beyond what we're actually seeing, we may be able to get in touch with that energy as well.
Absolutely. And prior to coming on this evening, I was channeled with a message, a group message for everybody here from the beyond. And if you'd like me to read it out to you, it'd be a pleasure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so when I get a channeling, I write it all down on my phone. So give me a moment. And here we go. Right, to everybody who is here, once again, welcome. Love to you all. So this is a group message from the beyond. Welcome to you all from the beyond. The beyond refers to the outer truth beyond humanity's educational understanding, the power that lies beyond the perceived awareness of love and perception of consciousness and infinity. When you reach this space of full acceptance that your reality is completely different to your journey experience, the veils will lift and your sensory reconnection to us will become palpable and blissful. This schooling experience is taking place for very specific reasons, which in time will become known to you all. Every experience, therefore, emotion and feeling is part of humanity's letting go journey. Today, humanity will experience the last but necessary part of experiencing the opposite to unconditional love, as after this journey, the need for this experience will have been completed. Please know you can never make a wrong decision. Free will is non-existent back home, and everyone is here to serve each other. We, the beyond, send blessings and the power of who you truly are to be experienced as you have written. We are with you all constantly, and our combined presence is the beyond of ultimate love. So,
wow.
I've got another part.
Yes, I'm now just taking all of that in for a moment. That resonates.
Wonderful. I'm glad it does. What does beyond mean? It means going further, beyond limiting beliefs of what humanity's words limit us to believe. This is always meant to be until now. As it is now, humanity's journey is all connected with the return home process. Beyond means the understanding of dis-ease, not the acceptance of dis-ease. The understanding of dis-ease, as in why does it occur, where does it begin, and how can dis-ease reverse? The reveal of this is the gateway to reconnecting with home, the place from which we all belong and can reach whilst in the human body. Humanity has one goal, and that is, in this very moment, to all serve each other, in clearing humanity's clearing journey, so all veils can be lifted and humanity and elsewhere can swiftly, palpably, with all our senses know the returning home experience. This experience will be experienced whilst in the human body and is already taking place today. Some of you will immediately resonate with these words and feel an innate knowing, not wishing, that this is unfolding, and it is. There is no truth, no accuracy, there is just is. So there's a lot to take in there.
There is a lot. We could just unpack that for about 3 hours and discuss discuss all of that.
Jennifer, there was I just want to briefly mention emotions, and I'm going to give you an example example, hurting is an emotion with an attached signaling process to activate dis-ease. Healing means the underlying cause, reason, manifestation on all levels, energetic, frequency, vibrational, genetic, karmic, etc., is being let go, and therefore enabling the wellness of the body to come back into effect. The reason why I wanted to actually mention this is because, unbeknown to us generally, emotions have been given into our vocabulary as part of our experience, what we wanted to experience. And these emotions, they activate dis-ease in the body. And so therefore, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because if we have time to think about what we want to say to somebody else, is to be a little bit circumspect, if we can, about the vocabulary we use, because the vocabulary sends a vibration and an energetic connection into another person's body without us giving too much thought to it. And also with thoughts, the thought's exactly the same. When you have a thought of judgment or finger pointing towards somebody else, and we all do it, if you look at what's going on in the world and what's being perpetrated, one can't help but feeling on behalf of
Mhm.
who are having to be at the hands of the perpetrators, let's put it that way. And therefore, thoughts can come into our mind, and uncomfortable thoughts and feelings and judgment can come towards the people. And logically, it makes sense, but actually, it just sends signals and activates dis-ease to other people all around the world. So if we can change our mindset, our framing, it would help enormously.
Yes. How would you recommend that we do that? I get concerned sometimes about trying that people will try to disassociate from the thought. They'll try to push it out of the way, and then it ends up kind of nagging them. And then it seems like there's a need to process the energy within the body, within our nervous system, kind of in a somatic kind of way, and process the thought, process the emotion, allow it in order to let it go, if that makes sense.
It does, and it's a great question, Jennifer, because it's unfortunate as human beings that we are in a position where we have uninvited thoughts to come into our head, and they disturb us, they discombobulate us, and they agitate us. And when we're in a position of being able to observe and watch those thoughts, we can actually consciously think, I don't want these thoughts, I don't want to be there. But to answer your question, should a nagging thought or one of those involuntary thoughts come in, if you can write this down and remind yourselves, ask the question, what would love do?
Yeah.
And it's a reframe.
Yeah. I would answer that if I were having a thought that was negative or uncomfortable, I would say I would love that thought. I would give love to it. I would give
Yes.
love to the emotion, because for me, it would represent a part of me that needs to be seen and heard and felt and honored. And then that way, it would kind of metabolize the energy faster, and then it wouldn't keep bothering me anymore. Because when I've learned to become able to allow the whatever painful thought or emotion is in my awareness or in my presence to move through me, and when I just like embrace it and hug it and allow it in, it kind of dissipates a lot faster. If that makes sense.
Well, so that's a great way of doing it. And
Yeah.
it's quite interesting because people will have their own ways of being able to
Yeah.
transmute what it
Yeah.
is they don't want to experience or they don't want to hold on to. With myself, yeah, I do it slightly differently in the sense of I know that there's an underlying signaling process that is activating a thought that comes in. Because I know the process, I stay with it. I know that I don't want it. And so I get sometimes shown an affirmation to use to disperse in reverse. But an affirmation for everybody who's listening, as with what you've just said, Jennifer, if you speak to the thought or speak to what you feel is giving you agitation or discomfort, is speak directly to it. And the affirmation that I've often given out to people, it's a bit long, but is you say to whatever's troubling you, I love you and I know you love me, and now it's time to set you free.
I love that. I love you, and I know you love me, and now it's time to set you free. It's beautiful because there can be so many layers of meaning in that, and because when we're giving it love, we're saying, I see you. I see you. You're not trapped anymore. You're not hidden. You're not, off in the shadows of my subconscious mind. Like, I'm bringing you to the surface, and now you're liberated through the love.
Absolutely. And there's another way of thinking about what troubles us. For many, many years, I've been shown a different way of actually seeing this. So rather thinking about the emotion, what it's doing, where it is, I see the emotion as a program that we've written for ourselves. I see it as it's a signaling process. And so therefore it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Inanimate. It's like an inanimate object, as it were. It's frequency, vibration. There is intelligence to it, but an intelligence because it's like an intelligence that's written into the virus of a computer. That's what it is.
Right. In the process of it, we're like defragmenting the computer program.
Yes,
we're taking in the old programs that aren't serving us. The interesting thing is because we're living spiritual beings, is that in that process, it feels there's an emotional process to the defragmenting, to letting go of the fragments, because it feels like you're dying a little bit to the psyche, feels like it's dying, but really it's that program no longer can sustain itself because there's not enough energy to keep it alive of belief anymore. Because as the beliefs change about who you think you are, then the programs that were supporting that belief, they just don't have enough. But the beautiful thing is that energy gets liberated, and you can sometimes feel it in your body, and you're just like, whoa, and you want to go create and do some really cool stuff with it.
The interesting thing also is that we keep on going from one chapter to another in our journeys. So what happens is we have a whole load of energies that we work on it gets displaced, dispersed, reversed, let go. And then we feel so much better, and all of a sudden 24 hours later, all of a sudden we're feeling down again. But it's not because of what was that was troubling us. It's the space that we inhabit in that moment that's actually what needs to be worked on. And there's a meaning to the word cure. So, when we talk about cures, people think, oh, okay, well, we can't cure you, the doctor may say. But cure Spirit has a different meaning for the word cure. So when you're working on energies, and those energies get dispersed and reversed and let go, you come back into alignment. That's what cure is. In that moment, when those energies are dispersed and reversed, and it gets let go, that's where the cure. And then you go into a different phase of your journey, and there are other energies and different emotions. When they're dealt with, that's the cure. So the cures keep on happening on a regular basis. So that's the meaning that's been channeled through to me for the word cure, as opposed to conventional science, what they mean.
Right. And there's like a harmonization where everything is now working in harmony too with that.
Yes, and bear with me for 1 second, because as you said that, give me a second. They're here, as it were. Give me a second. Right, can I just ask you to repeat that, please, Jennifer?
Well, you spoke about the cure and coming into alignment, and I was just expressing that it's similar to like a harmonization. So the alignment is like coming into harmony, into balance.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thanks for repeating that. Yes, absolutely. And for a lot of people, we don't have the navigation that we feel that we would like directly from being able to speak to spirit. I'm in a position where I get my channeling 24/7, most probably the same as you, Jennifer. And there's a number of people out there who perhaps are current mediums or prospective mediums or looking to connect on that level. And we're all telepathic. So at some point, maybe like yourself, perhaps like yourself, Jennifer, definitely like me. I'll give you an example. I was having a rant with spirit, as I sometimes do, and saying, look, I've been feeling under the weather. I know what's going on for me. You've been telling me. I said, why do I have to wait till after the process actually comes? Why don't you tell me before? And the answer was, well, if we told you before, it would have troubled you. But now we're giving you access to being able to disperse and reverse what would have troubled you beforehand. So it's not going to trouble you. So therefore, this is the beyond. Giving an understanding of seeing the journey and taking us into a space of the beyond through a different lens. And when the lens, it's like having a spiritual cataract put in. And so when that happens, it's, yeah, okay, I've got you.
Mm-hmm. I know these conversations well.
I'm sure you do.
Let's take a quick moment just to catch up a little. I'd like to say hi to, we have more friends who've joined us: Susan Kramer, Carla Ann Garrett, Craig Hendricks, Lynn Juno, Joel Statler. So happy that you're all here. Gascon, Charity here as well too. Kay Weezy, Mark John, Tani. Forgive me if I've missed anybody, I apologize. Michelle Oliver, are you still here? Because I do know you had some questions that I wanted to address if you were still here, love. But she was saying, do you believe that one can go to a different place when they fall asleep? She feels exhausted at times and don't know if I was dreaming, but it felt like I went somewhere else. And she's been having premonitions while she sleeps as well. And throughout the day, she has premonitions. She recalls things that she experienced while she was sleeping. It feels like she returned from somewhere. And she asked if you had any thoughts about that.
Well, I got a message from the beyond. So to ask me, do I have any thoughts? The answer is waiting for them, in the wings, as it were. In the wings.
I know, right? So yeah, well, still here.
There's a number of layers to this. Yes, you're having premonitions. There'll be a reason why in your journey you're meant to have premonitions. I don't have the answer to why you're supposed to have premonitions, but if it's in your journey to have. But you're going through a process. Who was the person who asked that message, by the way?
Michelle Oliver. She's here.
Michelle.
Yeah.
So, Michelle, the beyond would like you to know that you're going through quite a convoluted process. You're going through a convoluted process of letting go. And so there's no reason for you to actually feel tired through your premonitions or through your dreams. So the tiredness, there's a reason for the tiredness. And with your tiredness, it's different vibrations and frequencies that are waiting to be let go, that need to be let go to enable your reconnection to a much more optimized telepathic state to take place. And so right at the moment, it's a little bit, most probably quite hard for you because you have a premonition, you have a dream, and very often the underlying messages within dreams, it takes a while to actually really know what the underlying message is, because it's sometimes quite straightforward logically, but one has to go beyond logic, because logic will never give us a true answer, never gives a true message. But we all have logic, so we have to just put up with it. But I do have a message from the beyond for you, is that if you use Jennifer's affirmation or something like my one, which is I love you and I know you love me, and now it's time to set you free. Speak to your body, because your body is the intelligence. And the accumulative effect of using that affirmation will help disperse and reverse different signaling processes that don't serve you as part of your journey at the moment. And the premonitions, they'll happen, but you'll be in a much more harmonized space and a much more comfortable space to just acknowledge the premonition, but don't get immersed in the premonition. Don't take it to heart. It's there for a reason, and it's been given to you for a reason. And what you're meant to do with that premonition will be shown to you in the time that it's meant to be shown to you.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Nigel.
It's a
beautiful message for Michelle. Yeah. I've been getting premonitions too, and I just wait. I just leave them be. And
of course,
lot of telepathy, and a lot of also I go to the beach a lot, and I can become one with the ocean. Like I am the ocean. I just slip into that, and it's like there, and I'm like I can feel all the movement of the sand and the movement of the water. It's pretty trippy.
I'm sure. So, there's a couple of things coming through. I just saw a message, Lynn Juno.
Yes, Miss Lynn Juno. She's a friend of mine and a lovely medium as well. She was concerned about the increased use of profanity out there right now. I'm guessing because there's been a lot of separation and volatility on the what I call the world stage.
It's true. And,
Yeah.
it's all part of humanity's letting go. So each time somebody swears, it causes, it creates a process of inflicting an interruption in another person's or a society or a community's energetic processes. It interrupts the optimization of their well-being. And so although it's horrible, and although we think, why do people do that? It is actually part of humanity's letting go process. It's all coming to the surface, and it's like an earthquake that has to actually let go of all that heat and all that uncomfortable composition. And so it is all part of a letting go process. I know it doesn't make sense logically, but the Beyond would like you to know the layers of letting go sometimes doesn't make sense to us, but it's all part of a letting go process.
Yeah, I love that. I love that too. And Karen was asking about the free will part of your channeling too, because I think you said there's no free will in the beyond too. And she's hoping for a message too, but she was like free will, and she was like, no free will. And I know we could have a whole hour discussion on that because I have questions about free will myself. I have my own opinions about it too.
So free will, it's all part of humanity's journey. It's been made up as part of, if you ever watched the program called, it was a film with James Carey, The Truman Show. And if you watch The Truman Show, to me, it's a reflection of what's going on here. So everything happens as it's meant to be, but it doesn't feel like it's meant to be because we're all in our head and we all take it personally. We all think of the I as the most important thing in the world, as opposed to the I just being a fragment of a connection to the oneness that we're all part of. So all I would say about free will is I get taken into a space where I get shown there's no free will, and it's a lovely space. So therefore, on a human level, it makes absolute sense. You make a decision. Do you go left or do you go right? You make a decision. Do you see this film or that film? Do you say yes to this or do you say no to that? But if we take a step back from that, and if we can actually be in acceptance that we wrote the journey that we're on, and actually this is a holographic existence and a holographic experience, and it's not the reality of who we are as spiritual beings, which is hard to take on board because we can't remember who we are as spiritual beings. So we're reliant on the letting go process to accelerate the amplification, the magnification of who we are as spiritual beings. But when we do get into a space, and the time comes, where we get shown that actually just being here is being in the what is. We've created it. And so it's being in an acceptance that whatever decisions comes through our mind is a predetermined decision that is actually making itself known to us, and it makes us feel this is the decision we take. But invariably, when we look back at our journeys and we think, how did we get here? Then sometimes we can just see, oh my gosh, I was meant to go through that. I was meant to meet that person. I was meant to have that experience. And a lot of it makes so much sense in hindsight. Yeah. So some people may not necessarily be able to resonate with that, take that on board. I can only go by my experience, and the Beyond requests me to convey that experience to give you an indication of actually what's ahead of all of us, to be aware that there is no free will.
Yeah,
but I believe that.
It's and I know there's some philosophers out there who we also speak about this too. It does imply separation as well, and so I've come to understand that we're channeling our reality and we're multidimensional. So I often answer that question, well, who's free will? Because it's like, what part of us, how integrated are we when we make a choice? You know, how separate are we from ourselves when we make a choice? So that's another facet of looking at it too. Like, which part of us just made that choice? Was it, you know, a part of us that was in touch with our whole being, or was it one aspect of us that is driving the show, and now we're going to go back and have to clean up a mess afterwards too? So it's one way of looking at it too. What's recently kind of become my concern is that people use this very important sacred spiritual concept of, this was all meant to be, therefore I'm excused of my behavior, if that makes sense. Like, therefore I can go out and be as mean as I want to be, you know, because it doesn't matter, because, you know, it's all planned out this way too. And that doesn't feel very integrated to me too. So that's where I get a little concerned. But I know what you speak of, because I've had the same revelations come to me as well.
Well, Jennifer, if somebody has those thoughts that come through, as I can be as mean as I can, in that person's journey, they're meant to have those thoughts. In that person's journey, they're meant to have that journey. They're meant to have that path. If that path and that journey and the way they think then takes them into a scenario or a situation where they have an uncomfortable experience in which in that moment they are meant to have their lesson, it's all part of a pre-programmed and predetermined path for them to get there. So, for example, my lovely wife will be concerned about our son, what he goes through, what he feels, and all of that maternal stuff.
Yeah.
And she comes off the phone speaking to him. She says, what do you think? I said, he chose his journey. It'll be what it will be. If he has to trip over in his journey, he'll trip over. We're here to support him and help him up again. If he's meant to feel sad, if he's meant to feel all these emotional feelings, that's part of his journey. You've been through it. I've been through it. It's one of those things you can help, you can actually teach and guide and give a sense of one's own experience to try and avoid somebody getting hurt. But in their journey, if they're meant to experience hurt, they experience it.
Yeah, I know there's no avoiding it and there's no escaping it. It is part of the journey. But I also feel like we can do so much better, you know, and maybe that's just my heart. Maybe it's just my personality that we can do so much better. There's so much more love. And I do get troubled, and maybe that's my own ego or my own facet of my personality, of using what is very high consciousness understanding to validate hurtful behavior. And
what I would say to that is perhaps looking at your thought processes via a different lens. And what's coming up in this conversation is attachment.
Yeah.
So therefore, there's an attachment to feeling the way that you do.
Yeah.
So therefore, I would be looking to disperse those feelings and thoughts of attachment to what was and accept that what is. Because,
I understand. And I've also come to understand that after having a whole experience of the big consciousness, the allowing of it all too, sometimes the opposite, because we live in a land of opposites and we're experiencing all that it's okay to experience a perspective that's a little bit more 3D or more earthly, perhaps, than the wide beyond part of it, if that makes sense too. So I've been watching my own from a background, watching that play out. It's like, okay, I've come to understand, I channel my reality, but yet it can make us very passive in making decisions and moving forward and all of that too. Because there's a light and a dark to everything, right? And but then as my own connection to humanity deepens, I love so much that that I would love to see us all do better, if that makes sense.
Do you know something? You got a wonderful a wonderful, loving connection with humanity, and you just want what's best for humanity and for everybody. So in my journey, I'm not in that space. I've been guided in the way that they guided me to see things through a structured lens, in the sense of, we all want to have unconditional love to be ever present, or beyond love to be ever present. More often than not, the opposite occurs and is present. So what does that show us? It shows us there's duality.
Yes.
So therefore, my default space is to go into the space with the beyond to say, oh, wait a minute. Well, back home, do you have duality? Is there duality? And they say, no.
Yeah, no, there's no duality back home.
So therefore, I come back into this space and thinking, okay, you just showed me something. There's the energy of duality. The energy of duality, there's the way that it's been written as a layer in our journey doesn't serve us as part of our return journey home. So therefore, I then connect with the duality intelligence and saying, okay, I've got it. It doesn't serve us. I let go. Just move on. And then it's the next thing that will come up and be shown to us. So I don't personally, if something is shown to me as duality, I know that it doesn't serve us. So it's not a space to actually immerse oneself in. It doesn't serve us. Let's speak to it. Let's disperse it. Ask for spiritual help for us to move on, because the duality, there's aspects of the duality energy that interrupts the optimization of our well-being. Any interruption in the optimization of our well-being will always unequivocally disrupt our telepathy. And so when you say there's no duality, they're showing you that actually there's also an interference that interferes with our telepathy. And we all know that whatever we call ourselves, such as mediums, clairvoyants, or whatever, that the telepathy can always be improved. It can always be enhanced. It can always be better than what it is. And so therefore the question is, well, what actually interrupts and disrupts our telepathy? And it's all these energetic layers, such as duality, that affect us. So we have to keep on moving through the layers.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. Thank you. I'm curious too, while I have you on this subject, I'm being a little selfish, but that's okay, is, a few years ago, I was so connected to the beyond, to infinity. And, but I was very ungrounded in this, earthly reality. But I was also very unhealthy physically at the time and didn't know it. And so I've been on a healing journey myself physically, and work very hard on my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. I work very hard on it in all of the different facets. And that has brought me into a more grounded, like, now I'm here. I'm not, but I always have access to it when I have the time and space where I'm not busy doing kind of thing. I have access to, because I can just go become one with the ocean for a few minutes, and that's fine too. But it's not the same as it was. So it's like I was where you are, but I was kind of half dead at the time. If that makes sense. I was having a living near-death experience, but now I'm more grounded and present here. But you're healthy, and we're in the same place, if that makes sense. Like, you got healthy and went into the beyond, whereas I was in the beyond and then I got healthy. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm just going to pick up on some of the words you used. What is healthy? Healthy is when one is in a place of alignment. And when you're in a place of alignment, there's harmony in the body. What we don't know is that there are energetic intelligences, which I call sabotage, and frequencies and vibrations, and also other aspects of the metaphysical, which we haven't been shown, it's not in books, that actually have a signaling process that can actually reflect something that took place 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and there could still be a remnant of that still in our energy flow without us knowing anything about it. And so we can feel better. We can feel that we would, we have. But if you were to ask me the question, Nigel, in my energetic imprint, are there still aspects which doesn't serve me, which need to be let go? The answer is yes. If you were to ask me, Nigel, do you have some answers from the beyond to help me with this? The answer is yes. If you were to ask me, Nigel, can we have a session privately about this? The
answer is okay, I'll take you. That's beautiful, Nigel, too.
I just say, in the early part of the messages coming through, there was a Tilly from South Africa.
Yes, I'll go find that for you. And Evie Kitten, that's Evelyn. She's saying duality doesn't serve us, but it is very much an energy that's disruptive, but very much part of Earth life. It just needs to be transmuted, in her humble opinion. And you're right. And hi, Evelyn, my beautiful angel. Spirit world is non-dual, and that makes it so hard for some of us in our human minds to understand why bad things happen, because we're like, well, spirit world isn't dual, so like there is no harm being done there. It's like free love everywhere. There's no rules, there's no structures, there's no this, there's no that. It's a very different experience. Okay, and you were looking for Tilly, is that correct?
By the way, can I just ask you, Jennifer, was
yes,
the lady who had a birthday on the day that you were talking to me about 3-4 weeks ago?
Was that Evelyn? Was your birthday on our last show? She will remember.
Well,
I'll give her a minute to. Okay, and then I'm trying to find Tilly's comment for you too. Hi to Jill, who's joined us as well. And Tilly, where are you, love? I'm just looking through. She's a little farther back.
She is. She just wanted a message. So.
Oh, okay. Okay, there she is. Good evening. Would love a message, please, and thank you from South Africa.
Okay, so
there
Tilly,
she is.
What I would say, Tilly, is first of all, Khandi, my Lifi. And that's Afrikaans because I've got a number of South African clients, so I've learned those few words.
That's so cool.
So when she says South Africa, so I'm just linking into Tilly, where you're at the moment. So 3 pointers for Tilly. Okay. Tilly, in your journey, you've got a great heart, you're very empathic, and they want to honor you for your existence on the earth plane and the journey that you've chosen, because you have got a really good heart and you want everybody to be well, which is absolutely lovely. They're also showing me that you've had your trials and tribulations. And with your trials and tribulations, you've tried to let go to the best of your ability. And there's 1 or 2 aspects about what you've had to go through that you are still personally holding on to. You don't want to, but you know that you need some help with that. What I would ask you, Tilly, is, they're asking me to ask you, if you go onto my website, get in touch by email, and I'll give you a connection with your spiritual guides and your team, and I can be more explicit in terms of the messages that they have for you. You do have family members who are on the other side, who they want to come through, and they want to reassure their love for you. And they're saying that you've been asking questions and you've been asking for help specifically for quite some time. And there are some issues to do with your well-being. And they're saying that lots of answers will be given to you. So please get in touch.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nigel. She's over on YouTube, so I'm not sure if she's still watching or not, but so we'll just trust that spirit will guide her to make sure she gets the message if she's moved on too. Is there anybody else you feel drawn to? Michelle is saying you feel and you've given a message to Michelle. You seem very knowledgeable about all of these things that you're talking about. She's grateful to hear everything you're explaining. And how did you come all to know these things that you know?
Well, yes, I am very knowledgeable, and and it's not about my ego, seriously, because
it's okay to own what you know.
Well, do you know, Michelle? It's there's a lot of people out there. I could not talk about what I know because they're not in that space. They haven't arrived at that space.
Yeah.
And so therefore I'm in acceptance that the beyond is taking me into space to show me the layers that we have written for ourselves that need to be let go, to do with the optimization of the healing of the body and what causes disease, what are the contributing factors. And so for a number of years, I've been given a wonderful, insightful lens to dis-ease. So when I say I'm very knowledgeable, the knowledge has been made accessible to me, hence the way that I'm able to convey not just thoughts, but the information that has been channeled and has been validated to me through my experience and through my facilitating healing journeys with my clients. So anyway, your question is a bit of a, to go into how did I come into it? I'll summarize it in 2 or 3 sentences. I was in and out of hospital with my Crohn's disease. They gave me a week to live. I came out of that. I then was in and out of hospital throughout my early years into my 30s and 40s. I was then introduced to a lecture on energy. I became very interested in it. And then I was blown away by receiving messages through kinesiology. And I thought, oh my gosh, how does this happen? And then without me asking for anything, I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to say, I want to be able to do A, B, C, and D. My journey unfolded in the way it was meant to unfold. My access to communicating with all souls, communicating with vibrations and frequencies, but also all having intelligence, started to come through. And I just wait and it comes. So I don't ask, I just have access to it. And it's all for the benefit of humanity and for the individuals I work with. So I hope that answers your question.
I love that. And she's very happy you're sharing with all of us the things that you're sharing. She's very appreciative. That's beautiful.
It's a pleasure.
That's beautiful.
Was
there any? Go ahead, please.
There's somebody who just asked for a message.
Is Susan, Teresa,
was it Tilly?
Aline? You did give a message to Tilly.
Oh, I did. Sorry.
Yeah. So there's Susan, Teresa, Eileen.
You pick one. You pick one.
Okay, let me see who I feel drawn to here. Oh gosh, I love all of you so much. Let me see here.
I tell you, I'm looking at Kay Weezy Jones. Do you know this person?
Yeah, are you still here, Kay Weezy? I'll check in. Yeah, he might still be here. He comes on very frequently, so I'm not sure if he's still here. Susan Kramer, I do feel drawn to.
Susan Kramer, hello. Well, Kay Weezy Jones has just a very straightforward message: patience.
Perfect. I love that. Patience.
Just patience, because impatience has a signaling process that interrupts our telepathy, just like acceptance. So therefore, just to share with everybody, when quite often we feel, yes, we are in acceptance. Yes, we feel very empowered in our acceptance, but we don't realize that we go from one phase of our journey to the other. So you can go from one chapter of your journey where you're in acceptance, and all of a sudden we're in another chapter of our journey where there are vibrations or frequencies or signaling processes which contain lack of acceptance. Without us realizing it, that lack of acceptance then creates an interruption with our telepathy. So always know, everybody, that we are being guided with meticulous precision for our teachers to show up when they're meant to show up, for our lessons to show up when they're meant to show up. And let me tell you what a lesson is. It's not to bash you over the head. A lesson is to acknowledge, accept, and let go. Move on.
I love that. Acknowledge, accept, let go, and patience. That's a good message for the whole collective. And I know sometimes too, because I can kind of feel into the energy of the group a little bit, is we've all been kind of waiting for ascension. A lot of people are waiting for ascension, and they're wanting to believe and have faith and be patient. but it's been many years, and we are seeing some progression of that too. But then we see things happen on the world stage that go, wait a minute, that doesn't feel like ascension too. And so this is where like patient comes in, but then people are like, but we've been patient. So I can kind of feel that a little bit in the ethers, but we've been patient.
Well, do you know something? We use the word ascension, but really, if we're on the space to receive the answer, and we are, is there such a thing as ascension? The answer is no. It's very much a human perception and interpretation of what is. And so ascension is something that we have aspirations for, but actually there's nothing to ascend to because it's here. So therefore,
now is already here.
yes, it is. And I also, very interestingly enough, I know this is another 3-hour session, but you've got to ask yourself, when Eckhart Tolle wrote his fabulous books about the now, he was spot on. Everything about the now that he was channeled with is absolutely exact for the soul journey. But if you put the soul journey to one side and look at the beyond, and you ask the beyond, is there a now? No, there is no now. There is just is.
It just is.
So there is no now. So the perception and the interpretation, the acceptance or the non-acceptance of the now, for the soul journey, absolutely without a doubt. If you then default back to who we are, soul beings, or where we come from, and say back home, beyond, just tell me, is there a now? There is no now.
It just is. No, and I've said that often, like it just is, like it just is. And so
I heard you in your when you come to the East Grinstead community say that, and when I first heard it, I thought, oh my gosh, that's so lovely. And then the beyond side. I do have an affirmation for everybody.
Perfect.
Which will be really, really powerful for you all. And that is, I let go of the what was, and I invite the what is.
I let go of the what was, and I invite what is. Would that help us to maintain the understanding of what is? Because it's so easy just to get pulled into what I would say is a more immersed perspective.
A number of people will have different experiences when they repeat that affirmation. And so when I get channeled with the affirmation is there to disperse and reverse aspects of our conversation which doesn't serve the optimization of our well-being. Because my journey is all about understanding dis-ease and optimizing well-being. So therefore, the what was is the acceptance and the interpretation of what we feel the word consciousness, infinity, and love means to us. If we wish to go beyond all of that and then allow that constraint and that limitation belief to disperse, our previous beliefs is the what was. So when we use the affirmation, I let go of the what was, and that and invite the what is, those words transports us into a space of where the beyond is. One wouldn't necessarily get a channeling of information about it, but it's to help humanity and people who use it to, when they use it, there'll be different people at different stages of their journey of letting go, admittedly, but wherever they are, the cumulative effect of that is transformative and transports an individual to a space of where what is exists and what it is. And it's one of those things, it's rather ethereal, admittedly, because
it is.
And it's something we can't always understand. But when I get channeled with the affirmations corresponds with the individual's present letting go requirement.
Okay. No, it all makes sense to me. I mean, I've had the what is conversation many times, and in private and with other people too. And I guess what's channeling into me now is to hold the space of what is and also maintain deep connection with who is the what the what is has created, and have that deep heart love, because the what is, I guess if I were to take any adjectives off of it, then it's just, I guess, what is, but it becomes not neutral, but almost untangible in terms of feeling and emotion, as of like the what is still has a loving force within it. There's still, it's like the I am loving awareness that Ram Dass would speak of too. So I guess what I'm attached to is that the what is also love, has love and grace, and
Absolutely.
the depth of what is matters
Absolutely.
too, because then it makes us better human beings here in
Yes.
this reality.
But yeah, I've been listening to your words, Jennifer, and
Mm.
there's one word which I would take out personally, and that's the who.
Yeah.
You said the who.
Right, meaning all of the aspects of the what is, that what is created. Each other.
Well, my question is there a who? And if I speak to the team, which I will do within 1.5 seconds, is there a who?
Yeah.
And the answer is not in the way you think.
Rhymes and riddles. I know, more rhymes and riddles. I get it. I know. I did catch the frequency of the who when I said it, but it was the easiest word to come to in the moment, of that there is a connectivity to it all. And I guess I'm like, how can we embrace what is, that it just is, but also feel the palpability of the love connectivity, the deep grace, the sacredness of the what is what I don't want to lose in the, so we don't become complacent to, oh, it all just is nothing,
Oh, it's so much more powerful than that. But it's interesting because when
the power, yes, that's the word.
You just put on a very nice compliment, so thank you very much indeed. I appreciate that.
Beautiful. I release the past and welcome the present with an open heart.
Yes, absolutely. The who, by the way, is quite interesting, because when I mention the who, there could be an interpretation of how humanity interprets the word who. But actually, the beyond is saying the real meaning of WHO is completely different to humanity's perception and interpretation of what we've been led to believe through our vocabulary. So you've connected with the intelligence of what the beyond means by the who, because that's what they're telling me. Although tonight, I'm sure they'll show me as well.
Okay. No, I understand what you're saying too. And Kweezy, Nigel actually did just give you a message a short while ago, so you can go back and watch the replay, but it was about patience, so it was very lovely. So you were seen and heard there too. Okay, and Michelle, speaking to Veronica, very grateful she got to listen to Nigel, amazing. And so I would agree with you, Michelle. I know we're very blessed to have your wisdom and expertise shared with us here today. So thank you for that, Nigel, too. Evelyn is saying, love it. I think perhaps, Nigel, maybe we should have a show on free will, because Vivian asked a question about that as well. Maybe that would be a separate discussion. What do you think?
Well, Vivian, what I would say is, you're asking the question, when did we become acquainted with our free will? I think it's, when did we become acquainted with the understanding and the acceptance there is no free will? And so I'm not here, Vivian, to say to you that you shouldn't believe in free will, and your belief system is your belief system. Jennifer will be taken into a space where she'll have an understanding of the beyond because of her own experience. Try and put that into words for everybody to understand. I'm sure it'll be very hard. I've been taken into a space where I've been shown unequivocally, back home, that's what I call it, where we come from, there is no free will. So there's no duality. There's a lot of none of what we interpret of what is in our experience and our perception of our human journey. So I wouldn't say my feeling is to pull away from truly acquainted with free will, because back home, if there's this, not if, the ultimate unconditional love that goes beyond love. Let's call it the beyond, and maybe there's beyond the beyond. It's a space which I would anticipate is so phenomenally powerful that we can't really get a sense of it at this moment in our human selves, although it's an aspiration to. But my feeling is, and a lot of mediums and different practitioners would not necessarily agree with this sentiment, but I can only go by my own experience and what I've been shown, is that free will doesn't sit with my awareness.
Yeah.
Sorry to be so bold with my statement.
It's okay. And we're not the first people to have this discussion as well, too. And free will can, one lens of looking at it to back up what you're saying, Nigel, is free will implies a certain amount of control. And often it is when we have a spiritual awakening and we just see everything implode right in front of us and we have no control over it. We realize there's nothing we can do to stop really what's happening, like it just like that, like a natural disaster perhaps could happen. And then you realize like you could not stop it. You could, and that's when you realize, and then my question often becomes, whose free will? Because then you have to question who you are. Whose free will? Your free will? Your subconscious is free will? Part of you free will? God's free will? Like whose free will? We have to answer the who. And I know you said there is no who, but it can take us a step closer to the beyond, is what I'm thinking.
I
know. Look at Vivian.
Okay.
What about
what you said, Jennifer? What you said, Jennifer, was interesting in the sense of having free will. You're right. You're spot on. There's an element of needing to be in control.
Mm-hmm.
Needing to be in control. I'm making the decision, which brings back, coming back into the I. Is there the I? We got to ask that. All part of the oneness. Is there the I? So, if you speak to an individual and they open up and say, this is what free will means to me, I can't do this and I can do this and I can do this and I can't. It's interesting if you listen to those words, I can and I can't. There's a duality where the energy is affecting them, so that's interrupting the ability to be able to come back into the beyond and to be in a space of what is. So the free will is very much something that is sought after and is perhaps promoted, that we should look after our own decisions. But when you get into the space of connectivity at a level where one can actually let go of the concept of free will, it's liberating, it's intoxicating. And you can look at everybody else with their free will and thinking that's your journey. If you need free will, you need that control, that's your journey. And I send love to your journey, be well in your journey. That's not the space that I...
Yeah, I understand. I understand too. And yes, Suri Sawyer did a polarity mapping show with Michael Zinn over on his show, the live stream of consciousness. And it was kind of about coming into the, I'm looking for the word, it's a word like integration. It's a word like integration. I'm trying to look for the word. Forgive me if somebody remembers it, let me know too, but it's kind of like you map the good and the bad of different concepts, and then you kind of, that way you can bring them together so you're not stuck in like one part of the polarity in order to bring them all back together too. Yeah, it's not blending, it's a word like integration. I know the word, but I can't find it. Forgive me. Maybe Spirit will give it to me. Not infinity. Too. But we get the concept. It's coming into the spiritual gold, which is, I think, of what you were saying, the spiritual gold of like, what is, like, it just is, like, it is. And then I think you found the perfect word, is that the has power. It is powerful.
And, the question arises, is there polarity back home? And I don't need the answer because they're already showing it to me.
Yeah.
It's polarity. Do you know, there's so many people out there that have been given a way of seeing, channeling, interacting, connecting, and communicating with what's been written for the soul journey. So I have to explain what I mean by soul journey. The soul journey is what we're experiencing now. Every aspect of our understanding of our experience is the soul journey. Is that different to who we are as soul beings back home? Completely. So the soul journey and everything that we experience, everything that is compassed in the Truman Show is the soul journey. Back home as a soul being, it's a completely different ballgame. And therefore, the word what is holds, I wouldn't even say the essence, it holds a power, a phenomenon that we're aching to actually taste as soon as possible, to have a sensory awareness of who we truly are as spiritual beings. That's what the what is to me is.
Yeah. And there's remarkable beauty in that too. And I'm fortunate that I'm able to be reminded of that on a daily basis, to see the connection. So even if, my journey is to be more Jennifer on a day and be very Jennifer and immersed in 3D Jennifer world too, like there'll always be moments during the day of showing me how everything is matching up perfectly. It could be a song coming on and the particular words come on at the exact time as a thought, or thing like that. Like the synchronicities are too perfect to they're in the cannot deny zone, and it reminds me like, oh, like this is all going like clockwork. If you understand.
You're absolutely right, Jennifer. And I get reminded, I get given messages through song because I love singing. So many years ago, I had an audition for the X Factor, would you believe? But anyway.
Oh, the X Factor. Yes.
To put me up for that. But anyway, it's so I was in the shower the other day and I just started singing. And it was a reminder from, I call the team, to me, this is where the journey is taking you. And the song was Walking Back to Happiness with You. Do you remember that? Well, you may remember it. It's from the 1960s. I'm a bit older than you, Jennifer.
I don't know that song, sorry.
Oh, don't worry. But Walking Back to Happiness with You. And as I was thinking about the words, I think, thank you. So, we do get reminded in the most wonderful ways at times when we most need that message, and you know that, don't you?
Yes, I do. And and sometimes it could be just one or two moments in a day, but then I remember a time when I was so lit up in my consciousness, where I was like blasted open and so lit up that I could just drive to the store. I don't know how I got there, honestly, but that's, spirits running the show, right? Literally. And being made aware of it's not just a synchronicity here and there, it's everywhere. It is, everything is connected. And alchemy was the word I was looking for. Thank you, Spirit. Alchemy. Everything is connected. Like it's just one big giant web of connectivity. And I was able to, it's like boom, 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 and how it all made sense. Just going to the store and looking at the trees and the signs and the things. And I was just like, well, that was a trip. Looking back.
It's quite interesting your work, Jennifer, because
yeah,
you come on to, for instance, East Grinstead and in the Zoom, and you give these wonderful, loving messages to everybody. But your experience goes way beyond giving messages to loved ones who have passed over. Your experience and your connectivity and what you're being shown, it's somehow, in a way, how do you convey that in the different platforms that you work on? Because I'm sure that there's so much for you to share and to inform and guide other people with what you know and what you experience, as not just, and I don't mean to negate the special impact that people need when giving messages, you know, from loved ones from the past. That's why with the work that I do, Jennifer, it's I'll say to people, I'm not here just to give a message from a loved one who you want a message from. My presence here is to give you a different lens to see your well-being, and that's my focus. And so if somebody comes in and they want to give a message, they say, well, okay, there's a message here, but there's something which is, I know you're providing a platform to interview me, but this is a message for you. There's so much for you to actually put your boots on, tie up your laces and get going. So there's more to
Wonder
that.
Woman.
We'll have a one-on-one. I'll give you those messages.
Okay. Thank you. Well, we've got quite a renaissance coming. That's the word that just keeps coming to me. And, you know, we had what the Dark Ages back in 500 to 600 AD, if the timing is correct there. And then we moved into this beautiful creation of arts and humanity. And the time is now where I do feel like so many people are going to open up way more than they are now, or they're going to have an awakening. And we're here to help hold the space for that, and to help, you know, provide our little part in it too. And but I do believe it's going to be beautiful. So may we create beauty out of the beyond.
You are an integrated part of the jigsaw puzzle. We all are in our own way. So what you want to see achieved for humanity, what I want to see, most probably it's exactly the same. And, you know, the question is, I wonder if that's going to be in our lifetime. But what we do know, because we've been told this and shown this, that, and you know something, it's quite interesting, because it was the first part of the group message that I gave, that this is the last phase of the journey that we have to go through before we complete the coming home process, and we won't have to experience the opposite to unconditional love ever again. So it was slightly different words, but that was the thing. Yeah. And when that was channeled, I thought, oh, how nice is that? Also, everything that opposes unconditional love just impacts us. So
it does. And I remember that from the channeling that you read today here, you know, is that we've been experiencing the opposite of unconditional love. And it's an experience, and it's a hard one. It's and maybe that's a judgment of it, but
I've got a question for you.
Yeah. No more awakenings, just getting over the last one.
Well,
I know, right? It's a continuous, isn't it?
Jennifer, how long have we got?
We've been going about an hour and a half, so we should probably kind of wrap it up. But what would you like to share? I don't want to stop you when you're flow either.
Okay. If anybody's got a question about anything that's troubling them in terms of their physicality.
Yeah, does anybody have any, so like a medical question? Would that be correct?
Yeah, I'm not here to say this is going to be the outcome. I'm just going to give you the person some insights to the emotions and experiences that their body is still holding on to, that's contributing towards it.
Oh, that would be beautiful. Okay, so everybody, if you would like to share a little something about what's going on with you in your wellness, then Nigel can give you some feedback from the beyond to help you on that journey. So that means you got to start typing real quick, everybody. Susan is so cute. She says she sung the song you were talking about, that you were speaking of, the song from the X Factor, in front of a massive organ at a car show, and embarrassed her son quite well. All right, we've got Vivian. Okay, so I'm going to go through the list here. Lynn, bone and spine strength. Vivian, she had surgery from a car accident, and her pain is getting worse.
Let me get back to Vivian, if I may.
Okay, and Jules, muscle fatigue.
Okay.
Okay, Vivian.
So Vivian, you've had, why is my pain getting worse after surgery? Let me just have a look. Why? Okay. The surgery, where was it? What was it for? Just briefly.
It was her spine
Spine. Okay.
from an accident.
Okay. So the way that dis-ease takes hold of us, they have peculiar ways, actually, from a human point of view. When you're going for surgery, when one goes in for surgery, the moment an incision is made, you've got a transfer of energy of everybody around you, if that's the way it's been written. And for a lot of us, it is. Now, one of the reasons for this is because we all serve each other. So therefore, you're in an environment where you're having an operational procedure, Vivian. And you would have had an agreement before you actually got to that stage on the earth plane that the people around you will have accumulated a whole load of emotional pain and upset, which they're holding on in their bodies. And the way that we serve each other is that very often we take on other people's energetic imprints in order to serve them, to disperse and reverse what they as yet haven't been able to disperse and reverse themselves. So quite often, when one has pain and discomfort, even after the surgery, very often it's got nothing to do with the surgery. It's to do with the letting go of the discomfort, the emotional pain, and whatever's gone on in the consultant's journey. He could be, or she could be, holding on emotional pain and grief to do with his parents' journey. And so it can go far and wide. So what I would suggest is, when you speak to your body, because the body has the intelligence, it wants to hear from you, Vivian, and say to your body, I acknowledge the journey I'm in, and now it's time to set you free. Because what I've noticed with working with the beyond is that for the most part, the beyond wants to have participation from the individual who needs help. So when a person sends out a prayer, that's participating. When they go to a practitioner, a therapist, they're participating. But you can actually be at home and speak to your spine, speak to where the pain is, and just speak to it as a wonderful intelligence and saying, I acknowledge you. I understand you're here for a reason. I love you, and I know you love me, but now it's time to set you free. Or use the one which Jennifer uses. And within days, you're going to see a shift without a doubt, I'm being told.
That's beautiful.
Vivian, you put the surgeon looks like he's always in some kind of pain. It's because he is in pain. He's holding, I can tell in his journey, he's holding on to so much emotional pain and judgment from others during his path in becoming a surgeon. And there's a lot of judgment towards him. And there's a detachment and isolation between him and some family members because he can't open up in terms of expressing his emotions. So all of that in the surgeon's energetic imprint, a lot of that has been transmitted in the process as you having a procedure. But do not worry, because whatever you're holding on to, you're serving another person. It will be let go. Speak to the intelligence of the pain. It does want to be let go. And within days, I'm getting a message from the beyond in my spiritual Bluetooth that by participating, wow, without doubt, you will see palpable shifts.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And Vivian, I have this strange feeling, because I know what a bright light you are, that you're helping to heal him, even though he's in charge of healing you. So there's something a little magical happening there. Beautiful. Would you like to do another one, or would you like to close for now? I just want to see how you're guided.
No, two more. I can do two more.
Okay, beautiful. So let's see, we had, I'll just go back a little bit. Lynn Juno with spine strength, Jules, extreme muscle fatigue.
Okay.
Mark, unstable. And Michelle, risk of heart attack. Well-being for Teresa. High cholesterol for Susan. Jules, doctors have done every test under the sun and 200 pages of lab and can't figure it out.
Okay.
Wow.
So Jules, I've got a message for you.
Okay.
With fatigue, very often the solar plexus is constrained and contained. So as an energetic being, our solar plexus is our energy pack. So when we're holding onto emotions or when we're holding onto other people's transmittance, if it's programmed and there's a signaling process which sends those signals to actually interrupt the optimization and the workings of the solar plexus, it will always create fatigue. Now, X-rays can't identify energetic emotions or experiences, and that's why they've done 200 pages of labs, and they can't figure it out. So I'm just going to get a message for you about that. So let's have a look. I'm going to talk directly with the intelligence of the fatigue, and it is very much fermenting around your solar plexus. It's got energetic forms of sabotage, which means a particular vibrational frequency that is being designed specifically to cause a disruption. So now that I'm talking about it, we can actually access it. So that's going to be dispersed for you. And let me just go in. There's something else. From what I'm being shown in your journey, whether it's been past life or this life, I'm being brought to this life actually. There's a very strong episodes of feeling detached and isolated. And then within that, there's elements of lack of self-love. Now, this is really, really important. When there's a lack of self-love, it means there's a detachment or isolation to unconditional love and the beyond. It's an energetic interruption. So let's give you an affirmation. No. There we go. Right. So what I would suggest you do, Jules, okay, is on a daily basis, you don't have to chant it, but use it several times a day. Just sit there with your body, with the affirmation. Now that you've had a message from your body's intelligence, is to actually say, I let go. You don't have to chant it, you don't have to speedily repeat it, but say it with conviction. And when you start saying the I let go, the connectivity with the I let go and the intelligence of I let go will start to be embodied in your body. And 1, 2, 3. Within 3 weeks, I believe you'll see gradual but accumulative and progressive shifts on a sensory level that will validate and confirm to you that it's important to keep this affirmation going.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nigel.
Jules, what I would say to you, if you want to speak on a one-to-one, go to my website, send me an email.
Yes.
And
we've got the banner running down below, www.returningHome.co.uk, and then you can book a private session with him too. Hi, Colin. Colin's here.
Oh, hi, Colin.
From Monarcha Consciousness Group, which is now the Ethereal Center. I'm getting it, Colin. Everybody, please give him a follow over on Facebook as well too. And Vivian is saying, yes, too many radiographs and we get no useful information on energetic imbalances or interruptions. Wisdom. Thank you, Nigel. That's beautiful. That's beautiful too. Okay.
I can do more.
Okay, and beautiful. And Jules is saying thank you as well too. Jules, have you done any genetic testing like epigenetics? That just came to mind too. I'm wondering if that's one thing they might have left out. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. Susan was talking about high cholesterol, Teresa, well-being. Here, I'll put them up on the screen so that you can see them. Michelle, risk of heart attack, sick liver, unstable with Mark John.
Please.
This one here? Okay. Yeah. Risk for a heart attack and liver is sick. Oh dear.
Okay. So the word heart attack, actually, in the word attack, that holds a story to it. And so For different reasons, there have been inharmonious thought processes from your past lives and this life in terms of creating judgment and very aggressive thought patterns towards you. So when that happens, whether it's past life or this life, if it's been transmitted into this life, it means that generally anything, I'm going to generalize here, but anything that opposes unconditional love is an attack. Now, it doesn't always manifest in a heart attack. It can be muscular fatigue, it can be migraines, or whatever it may be. But the risk of a heart attack, it means that there is something going on. And you know what I'd like to do, if at all possible, I can go much, much deeper into it, because I'll be able to go into the heart and talk to the heart's intelligence and look at the frequencies and the vibrations, where they're coming from. And so
perhaps this could help Mark John as well, because he's got unstable angina, which is also heart related.
It is, and it's quite interesting, because Mark, with angina is a term given to by the doctors and the scientific community when there's a restriction in the respiratory process, and one can have a stent which opens up the arteries, which is fine, and it often does a great job. But there are many cases where there can still be an interruption in the respiratory process out of the blue all of a sudden, which is really not correlated or connected with actually having a procedure, with having a stent put in. Now, the reason why I know this, because I've had a stent put in my artery. And so I still have symptoms, but I know it's got nothing to do with the stent. The stent has done the job, it's doing it very, very well, but I get shown on a regular basis the clearing that's going through from my journey, that's coming through this particular area, which then pushes out those energies and vibrations, which causes the body to react and gives a symptom which cannot be identified in its fullest sense by having an X-ray. So yeah, so by all means, get in touch and I can have a much more inclusive conversation about it. I don't know. Well, when one says I hold no negativity, it's quite interesting, because in terms of one's energetic imprint, one doesn't know whether we hold on to negativity or not, because it can be still holding on, which is dormant from a past life or parallel world, or it could be sitting there from somebody else whose energetic imprint has impregnated us. There's so many different ways how dis-ease can come through to the body. But when we say we hold on to no negativity, that's in your conscious awareness. And if you feel that, that's fantastic. If one takes a scan of your energetic imprint, then it could be a different story. So if one's open to that.
Beautiful. I love that for Jules too. Michelle was offering, who's also at risk of heart attack. She was also hit by a car in March and still suffering. I think she means concussion, not conversation.
Okay.
So that.
I think Beyond is now saying love to all.
Okay. I feel that too. It feels like the space is starting to close, like it's getting about that time. So, but that was so beautiful. So please, everybody, you can connect with Nigel for a private session that will go much deeper for you into whatever issue that you are working through. And it's www.returninghome.co.uk. So, and I do know from our last session, some people did contact you. So I'm very happy to hear about that too. Yes. And Michelle did mean discussion. Nigel, is there any last words that you'd like to leave the group with as we come to a close?
Well, I'm passing that lovely question to the Beyond. And the Beyond
very kind of you.
It's a pleasure. And the Beyond is only too pleased. The Beyond is showing me this unimaginable feeling and form of absolute graciousness. and they are showing that they themselves feel humbled by everybody who's been present today, and to ask them to be open to the channeling that's taken place, but they also respect that whatever's been conveyed and channeled may not necessarily sit comfortably with certain people's belief systems. And that is fine, because we've been given a belief system for very specific reasons. Nevertheless, they're saying, please use the affirmations given by yourself, Jennifer, and what's been channeled through to me. And they want to leave one last message for this evening, and that is, please, everybody, embody the I let go affirmation, because wonderful, miraculous shifts will take place with everybody's well-being, especially when one least expects it.
Oh, I feel the shift already. I love you. You love me. Now it's time to set you free. That's a beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Nigel, for your beautiful words and for bringing the beyond. And that was it. What you talked about, the graciousness and that is the if you could put the beyond into words, or the is to words, like to describe it, that was what I was looking for. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. And when you feel that and tune into that, that's when you're authentically connected to it. That's how I feel. So you made my personality really happy too.
Lovely, lovely.
My beautiful angels, thank you so much again for joining us here on Embracing Infinity. We will be back next Friday with Colin Walker from the Ethereal Virtual Center. So we'll have another very engaging discussion in a week. And please also tune in to Fashionably Spiritual with my beautiful and amazing sparkly co-host, Nancy Muratalla, this coming Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 Eastern, and 2 a.m. Tuesday in the UK. Have your coffee, have your tea, and we will be there again for another deep dive into all things spiritual. So I do hope to see you very soon. I'm wishing you a lovely and magical weekend. Please, everyone, live well, love you well, and walk with grace. These steps will take you far.
Beautiful.
Lots of love. Thank you so much, everybody. Take good care. Bye, everybody.